Listen closely, beloved soul. You are not hearing these words for the first time. You are remembering them. You have been here before, perhaps not in this face, not with this name, not walking these exact streets, but the light behind your eyes has crossed thresholds older than history. Your heart keeps time with a music that did not begin at birth and will not end at death. There is a continuity moving through you like a river under stone, a quiet, ancient current carrying lessons, love, and unfinished songs. Long before this day, you chose to return. You did not come to be punished for what you once were. You came because a deeper wisdom called you to refine what you already are. The ancients knew this. On the banks of the Nile, priests spoke of the Ka and the Ba, twin wings of soul, one resting in flesh, one gliding the unseen, reuniting beyond the body to travel again. In India, the Vedas named the wheel of return Samsara, not a cage, but a great classroom where consciousness discovers itself through form. In Greece, Plato said learning is remembering that what appears new is truth, returning to the surface after a long descent. Across the Celtic groves, Druid voices carried stories of souls migrating like birds that always know the way home. Different tongues, one knowing, spirit endures, and it learns by living. Even the modern mind has begun to listen. Near-death research gathers testimony from those who briefly left their bodies and returned, operating rooms seen from above, loved ones met in a field of light, messages brought back without brain waves to carry them. Physicists trace law after law of a universe where nothing is truly lost, only transformed. Consciousness studies suggest mind may be more like music than instrument played through the brain, yet not confined to it. If the instrument falls silent, the melody is not destroyed. It waits for a new form through which to sound. So the soul returns again and again, not along a straight line, but along a spiral. Each lifetime is an orbit that brings you to a higher octave of the same truth. You do not repeat, you refine. Lessons come back not to punish you, but to complete you. People return not to trap you, but to help you see yourself more clearly. Patterns revisit not to chain you, but to reveal where love is still learning its own name. Imagine the soul as an eternal builder. It carries an image of a temple, its own temple of light, and descends into matter to lay the first stone. A life of kindness places the foundation. A life of courage raises the walls. A life of patience steadies the beams. But one lifetime is short, and temples are vast. Storms come, scaffolds fall, a wall must be rebuilt. Between lives, the soul stands on a quiet hill and looks down upon its half-built sanctuary, not with despair, but with devotion. I will return, it whispers. I will bring more light. Once there was such a soul. In one life it was a healer whose hands steadied the trembling, and who died young, leaving an empty bed and a full legacy of gentleness. In another it was a mason shaping stone by the river, teaching a child how to lift without breaking. In another, a poet whose words only a few heard, but those few carried them like seeds for generations. In another, the soul was the neglected, and the neglected became the compassionate. In each passage, something subtle and lasting was added. A lintel of mercy, a doorframe of honesty, a floor of faith that did not crack under weight. The temple was never finished, but in the spaces between lives, under star-thick skies, the soul kept coming back to walk its corridors half-roofed, half-open to the night, and vowed again to return. It did not feel sentenced. It felt summoned by love. This is why some gifts feel native to you, as if your hands remember shapes your mind never learned. This is why certain places pull tears from your eyes though you have no story there. Why certain faces feel like a homecoming in a crowded room. Memory is not confined to your biography. It lives in the soul like light in a prism. Turn it slightly, and another color appears. Reincarnation is often taught as tally and debt, but the deeper law is symmetry. Karma is not a judge's hammer, it is a balancing river. Energy seeks coherence, love seeks completion. What has been withheld will ask to be given. What has been broken will ask to be mended. The soul volunteers to experience the other side so that understanding ripens into compassion. To truly learn forgiveness, you may live as the one who forgives and as the one forgiven. To truly learn humility, you may taste honor and then choose service. The law is not cruel, it is exquisite. It brings you round to what you most need to become whole. Between lifetimes, there is a luminous interval, a field outside the clock. There, you review not with shame but with clarity. You feel the echoes your choices sent through other hearts. You are met by guides who do not scold, they illuminate. Together you choose what lesson is still tender and needs time to bloom. What strength wants a harder soil so it can take root? Which souls will meet you to mirror your hidden edges and your hidden wings? You decide together to carry each other further. The friend you lean on now may be the father who steadied you once. The adversary you resist now may be the midwife of your courage. You make agreements out of love, then forget them, so that the discovery can be real. If something in these words stirs a quiet memory, stay with it. Let the remembering unfold softly, like dawn through a window. The moment you feel the thread, you are already on your way. There is beauty, even in the veil. If you arrived remembering everything, you would not truly meet the lesson, you would perform it. The forgetting is not punishment, it is the sacred stage on which authenticity appears. The veil protects the classroom, and yet the veil thins in moments. A dream that feels older than time, a kindness that feels larger than you, a grief that opens into peace without explanation. Those are windows. Step through gently. Science has its own poetry for this. You are star-born. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe were forged in ancient supernovae. The cosmos reincarnates through you. Even at the smallest scales, information hides in patterns we are only beginning to imagine. Some thinkers wonder, if the brain is a receiver, could memory persist beyond the receiver's collapse? The questions are young, your soul is not. When the same lessons return, do not curse the loop. See the spiral. Ask, what part of me is ready to understand this from a higher floor? Patterns are doors that appear until we walk through with open eyes. Walk through, and the corridor beyond will be different. The architecture changes at the speed of honesty. Hold gently the truth of soul agreements. The one who wounds you may be an ancient ally fulfilling a painful promise to wake your strength. That does not excuse harm. It reveals a larger frame. Boundaries can be holy. Forgiveness can be patient. Love can be fierce and discerning. To honor soul agreements is not to accept abuse. It is to learn the lesson without poisoning your heart. And remember this, many souls return not because they must, but because they love. When a soul grows full with wisdom, it often chooses to come back as teacher, healer, quiet presence, and ordinary life carrying extraordinary light. Not all masters are recognized. Sometimes they are the neighbor who listens well, the nurse who hums softly, the farmer who blesses the soil with his hands. Great work rarely looks like a monument. It looks like a steady flame. When you face death, your own or another's, let the mind tremble if it must, and let the soul speak. Death is translation. The instrument grows silent. The music does not end. Many describe a threshold of radiance, a widening peace, a recognition that nothing essential can be harmed. If fear comes, breathe through it as you would through a contraction. On the other side of the breath, the next room opens. And when you cross that room and step into the luminous field between lives, you will see the half-built temple again. You will walk its aisles now roofed by stars and notice what was completed this time. A doorway of honesty that holds, a window of patience casting wider light, a floor of courage that does not crack. You will remember who helped you lay each stone and for whom you returned to lay it. You will bless them all. And then, perhaps, you will turn to your guides and say, with a smile that feels like sunrise, one more lifetime. There is still love to bring. Do not rush. The soul does not hurry. It ripens. Time is different at that height. What feels long here is a breath there. What feels tangled here is musical there. Trust the tempo. Trust the hand that placed you exactly where some future kindness needed to be born. If you want to aid your remembering now, do simple, sacred things. Sit quietly and ask for one small thread from another time that would help you be kinder today. Dream on purpose. Keep paper by the bed and catch the dawn before words dissolve it. Practice a forgiveness you have delayed, not because the past deserves it, but because your heart does. Offer a gesture without witness. Make a promise you can keep. Lay a stone. When you meet a child whose eyes look like galaxies, honor what they carried in. When you meet an elder whose gaze is clear and playful, honor what they carried out. When you meet yourself in a mirror on a difficult day, put your hand to your chest and say, I know you from before. I am with you still. The universe models your journey in every direction you look. Stars are born, shine, collapse, scatter, and rise again in new forms. Forests fall and become soil. Soil feeds seeds. Seeds split and become forests. Tides withdraw only to return. Nothing essential is lost. It changes shape to learn itself more perfectly. One day, after many returns, after many lessons learned, not only in mind but in marrow, you will feel the spiral open. The old cravings will not call you. The old wounds will hold no hooks. The temple will stand complete, not because it is grand, but because every room is honest. You will walk through its doors and see no separation between builder, temple, and light. You will laugh, perhaps, at how long you thought you had to travel to find what never left. You will know then that home was not a destination, but a way of seeing. Until that day, let this lifetime be worthy of its place in your story. Let it be a chapter where you chose clarity over comfort, mercy over pride, depth over speed. Let it be the season you learn to turn toward what hurts with tenderness and toward what helps with gratitude. Let it be the time you placed 2 extra stones, one for someone who could not carry their own, and one for the future you will become. The forgotten light in you is remembering. Don't turn away now. Breathe, listen, lay the next stone, and when dawn comes, whether in this world or the next, walk on with the quiet certainty of a soul who has been here before and who knows exactly why it came.